Hi, I'm Mindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my TBR for February Fantasy Stories, which is a reading event in February that I am co-hosting with the Bookish Bryants, Steve Donahue, the Booklectic, B&B Books, Michael K. Vaughn, The Nerdy Narrative, Jason's Weird Reads, Hooked on Books with Chris, David Wiley, and Jim Reads Too Slow. This is going to be my whole February TBR because there are some other books that I'll be reading other than my short fantasy stories, which include arcs. I'll be reading Age of Ash by Daniel Abraham, The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. So those two are also fantasy. They're just a lot longer than the 250-page limit for the readathon. I'll also be reading Beneath the Stairs by Jennifer Fawcett and Sundial by Catriona Ward. And I'll also have some audiobooks going that are buddy reads and group reads. Rose Matter by Stephen King for the Stephen King read-along hosted by Kelly Hooked on Books on Brad Proctor's Discord channel. Now into the February Fantasy Stories TBR. The first week of February is going to be all about reading short fantasy fiction in classic fantasy. So things published before 1971. And for this, I'm going to be listening to the audiobook of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is book 2 in the Chronicles of Narnia series by C.S. Lewis. I have this whole Narnia collection. These are great audiobooks. I've listened to The Magician's Nephew so far. They have a complete cast and like music to go along. It's really, really great quality. So looking forward to that. And I'll also be reading The Tombs of Atuan, which is by Ursula K. LeGuin. It's book 2 in the Earthsea cycle. And it is 181 pages and was published in 1970. So right on the deadline of before 1971. Oh yeah, and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is 159 pages and was published in 1950. Then week 2 is Sword and Sorcery. I wanted to choose a little bit different picks. I'm going to read 2 graphic novels. First is Rat Queens, Volume 4. I love this series. I thought it fits the theme pretty well. As well as Skullkickers, Volume 1. I haven't read this yet, but it seems like the epitome of sword and sorcery to me. Band of adventurers kicking butt and whatnot. So anyway, 2 graphic novels for week 2, but there's so much more that I want to read for Sword and Sorcery, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I have 3 anthologies picked out for Sword and Sorcery. The first one is the Sword and Sorcery Anthology, edited by David G. Hartwell and Jacob Weisman, which has a lot of the classic Sword and Sorcery authors. And then there's 2 newer anthologies for newer stories. Swords Against Darkness, edited by Paula Guran, as well as Swords and Dark Magic, The New Sword and Sorcery, which is edited by Jonathan Strand and Lou Anders. And I just can't choose. So I guess I'm gonna pick stories from each one and see if there's one anthology that ends up I like best that I might concentrate on. Because I just can't choose. Does anyone know about these anthologies and which one I should choose? Anyway. Then, week 3, Dark Fantasy. I have 2 anthologies picked out for Dark Fantasy week. The first one is Grimdark Grimoires, which is edited by A.A. Medina and was published by Aphotic Realm. And then Blood and Betrayal, edited by S.K. Sayari. And this anthology of dark fantasy looks fantastic as well. Grimdark Grimoires I have on my Kindle, so I'm going to read that entire anthology before starting in on the other one. Okay, so Urban Fantasy Week. I'm going to read something from The Night Side by Simon R. Green, which is 230 pages. I have not read anything from Simon R. Green yet, but I have heard good things, so I'm looking forward to this. And then once I finish that, I have picked out the Urban Fantasy Anthology, edited by Peter S. Beagle and Joe R. Lansdale. So let me know if you've read any of these anthologies. What do you think of them? Any of the books? And I will be back during the month after I have read from these to let you know what I think of them, what the standout short stories and stories are. How I am going to go about this readathon is I'll be reading 50 pages a day for the readathon, and any pages on top of that, I will be focusing on my arcs and audiobooks. So if you have anything you want to share about fantasy stories, let me know down in the comments, and I'll be back very soon with another book-related video. Thanks.